for anybody who does not know Sana Amanat, she is the co-creator of Ms. Marvel, you know, their little version of little stretchy powers and all of this nonsense. Um, I'm not gonna say I know a whole lot about this woman. I know a few things, not a whole lot. I don't think most of the work she's done is really all that impressive at all. I think Miss Marvel on the whole is a character that was created as a self-insert. That's the whole reason for her existing. Now, Miss Marvel, as they call it, is the whole one with the stretchy arms and everything. But when I only found out about Miss Marvel, must be about 3 years after she was created, because I was a character I never really got much interested in all of that. She took up the name Miss Marvel after Carol Danvers, who was Miss Marvel before, so I decided to become Captain Marvel, even though Captain Marvel was Marvel, and they decided to do that. But you know, that's a whole other story of how much Captain Marvel is a god awful character. But Miss Marvel is a character I never found any kind of leeway with, any kind of interest in, nothing. As a character, she's just pretty much designed to push a stereotype that nobody seems interested in whatsoever. And she's got a Disney Plus show coming up, so you know they're trying to make it seem like it's like something really important, but she's only been around for a little more than about a decade, to be honest with you. Not to say like she's some newfangled character that they, or some character, I shouldn't say newfangled, she really is some newfangled character. She hasn't been around long enough to be of any importance to anything. Well, let's get into this from CBR. Miss Marvel co-creator says Kamala is on par with the MCU's top-tier heroes. That is already a bold-faced lie. Miss Marvel co-creator Sana Amanat says Kamala Khan is on the same level of power as the more prominent heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know what she's been smoking, but okay. Although Miss Marvel protagonist Kamala Khan will be a new hero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the character's co-creator Sana Amanat says Kamala is on the same level as the franchise's bigger name heroes. This is something that they do all the time when they bring in these characters, try to make it like, you know, they're just as important as the more established characters, which she isn't. Amanat brought up the comparison while speaking to Total Film, saying Kamala is this young character who is very much a fan of the big wigs of the Marvel Universe, like the Avengers, and she doesn't feel necessarily like she can stand toe-to-toe with them, because she can't. But I think ultimately she can, and she does. No, she doesn't. Amanat's mention of Kamala being a superhero fan ties into an earlier synopsis for the series, which states that Kamala's favorite Avenger is Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. Well, we already see what's wrong there. Who is also Kamala's predecessor as Miss Marvel in the comics. Yes. Much like her character, Kamala Khan actor Iman Vellani is also a fan of Marvel, which Amanat recently stated helped Vellani land the part. Wow. She showed me every corner of her room during her audition on Zoom, and it was covered with Avengers. Amanat said, then she said, oh wait, I'm not done, opened up her closet, and there was more Marvel everywhere. Vellani herself talked about what it was like playing the MCU's first Muslim superhero last year, noting that that's a fact they're going to really look to push it. The fact that the show is being made and that they're including this character in the MCU is what's important. I don't really have to go out of my way and talk about being a Muslim and being Pakistani. It's all comes out in the show. People seeing a person like me involved in a project as big as this, I think inspiring enough. Vellani also touched on what it was like watching herself play Kamala, which she described as Really weird. Yeah, I wonder why. Now let me just get back to this. Let me get back to this whole point. Again, as I said, they want the planet of in the upcoming Ms. Marvel series. The trailer looked like, horrible to begin with, but they're really going to lot of push this whole she's Muslim and she is Pakistani thing into it. And then they go back to the whole seeing people who look like me and kind of thing, that whole self-insert nonsense. But the reason characters like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, I was about to say Ms. Marvel, forgive me for that. Black Widow, these characters are more top tiers because they have taken the time to establish themselves. What MCU is doing now is throwing in a bunch of characters nobody wants to see. Because they're trying this whole, hey, let's be diverse with all this nonsense sort of, back and forth rubbish. Why? Because for some reason they figure that's what people want. I mean, they have Ms. Marvel here, a character nobody is interested in. Sure, her comics don't sell. Most people barely even know who it is. That when they talk about it, they say that. They also put in America Chavez, another character nobody's interested in. Nobody gives a damn about America Chavez at all. You have Captain Marvel. That movie was horrible garbage because Captain Marvel is a character nobody likes. Absolutely nobody likes. That Black Widow was a character people like, and you managed to screw up that movie, so that should tell you. You keep using these characters that have not established themselves, that are not good. These characters are nothing more than self-insert characters to somebody to use to slowly stroke their narcissistic pride of putting in these characters into there. They don't build these characters up. They don't establish them in anything that they do. They don't say, well, okay, let's try and, it takes time for these characters to establish themselves. It takes time for them, but you have to say, let's be creative, and you're not. You gave Kamala Khan some powers that basically kind of a knockoff of Reed Richards, but not even that good. Because every time I talk about this character, every time I've heard mention this character, I've seen this character, it's always her with these big, stretchy, giant fists hitting people, and that's about it. But they're not going that route in the Disney Plus series. They're giving us some kind of energy-like construct powers, kind of like Green Lantern, that doesn't look really good at all. And I think they've also decided to swap her powers in the comics to suit. I mean, you have characters like America Chavez, another self-insert who is just there to just be that I never caught on. They also want to bring in Riri Williams. As always have to mention, does everybody remember the time when they literally made Iron Man into a 16-year-old black girl? How did that work out? It failed miserably. You keep pushing these things, trying to speak it into existence, that these people, that these characters are so very important when they're not. So when you hear somebody like Sana Amanat, who doesn't have much good work to her name, or I shouldn't say any good work, like I said, I'm not an expert on the woman. I know little about her because I'm not really interested in her work. But when you have she as the co-creator of a character like Ms. Marvel that nobody gives a bloody flying foot about, coming out and saying that she is on par with the MCU's top tier heroes, in what way? You can't speak rubbish into existence. If you had taken the time to create a character, to craft a story, to be unique with this character, you would have gotten that. But it was more important for you to have a self-insert and push this into it and say, well, okay, this is this, that is that, and let me just hope it's going to be okay for that. No. It doesn't work. You did not create anything that was enjoyable. You didn't make anything interesting about this character. Now you're trying to come out and say, well, you know, they're on par with the top tier heroes. How is that going to work? These heroes have had decades. They were created when most of these people who are coming out now and calling themselves writers and creators weren't even alive. And these characters slowly built upon themselves to get where they are now. But you want to skip to the head of the line and come up with statements like, she's on par with the MCU's top tier heroes. In what flipping way? You can't speak nonsense into existence and figure people are going to sit there and be happy about it. It doesn't work like that. Your character is nonsense. Accept that. Nobody buys her comics. When is the last time anybody even see a Ms. Marvel comic? When is the last time anybody even see an America Chavez comic? When is the last time anybody even tried to remember Riri Williams? But this is what MCU is pushing out in their new Phase 4 nonsense. These characters, come on now, man. Have a little... Anyway, that's it for me. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole development. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.